So I'm the chairman of the board of one. And my main guy, his name's Seaspray. He's a former special forces guy went CIA ground branch. Those who know what ground branch is, the paramilitary unit. He's my main guy that I operate with out there. So he was already there a week before in Ukraine, knowing this was going to happen. Russia rolls across the border. He gives me a call. We head out. I head out. The reason we headed out originally was to make sure Americans were able to get out because our State Department, just like Afghanistan, left before our civilians. And so we wanted to be able to make sure that we were able to get Americans out. One of the kind of criteria, just so people don't think I'm a warmonger and chasing opportunities like opportunists. One of our criteria for the things we do is if the government can't or won't, then we will. If the government can or will, then there's no reason for us to get in. In fact, we deconflict everything with the Pentagon or JSOC. So we have those relationships. Always work directly with the CIA solo special operations liaison officer. So I'm not like a bunch of veterans going out there on my own doing this. So
you're not Rambo.
Right, and I don't want to be. I have plenty enough on my plate. Yeah. But when the United States has a civilian of interest, whether it's American or someone we care about, in a war zone, there's three things that happen. One is we'll use diplomatic action. Yeah. Second is military action. Yeah. Third is covert action. A fourth option would be someone like me who says the government can't or won't. So a fourth option would work in conjunction.
But what are we to make of the fact that this despicable administration would not do this, and that they would make effectively you and others risk your lives to do what our government ought to be doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, they want casualties because casualties gives them the backing of the American. So if there's American casualties there, if there's Ukrainian civilian casualties, then America's gonna be like, of course we need to help, right? It's playing on the compassion of the good-hearted American people who want to help people that can't help themselves, and that's how they get the buy-in. So they need casualties. It's like the school shootings, right? You need a school shooting.
What could possibly be more cynical, more dark? I mean, it's just hard to believe. This is evil. There's no other word for it. The idea that you would want people to die so that it furthers your agenda and you can get to do what you want to do, it's just unbelievable. So in any case,
it pains me to say, I got to say this, Eric, it pains me to say, and this is me speaking on behalf of like dozens of special operations veterans who gave everything. They gave their youth, they gave their lives, they sacrificed from their families, they gave up their friends, their health, their physical parts of their body. That all of us are saying right now that we are no longer the good guys. And I say that as a patriot who loves this country, America right now is no longer the good guys.
When we come back, I want to talk to you, Chad, specifically about what you cover in this book. The book, folks, is called A Mission Without Borders: Why a Father and Son Risked It All for the People of Ukraine. Not for Zelensky, who's corrupt, but for the people of Ukraine. We'll be right back talking to Chad.
Bravery and healing.
I have sympathy, of course, for all of the people here. It's a tragedy.
This is Charles Hansen. He's 91. He says he's lucky he and his wife survived, but so many lost everything.
The best thing I can do in respect for the people is to help clean up.
More than 100 people have lost their lives, and at least 150 are still missing. Scores of people at Camp Mystic, which sits next to the Guadalupe River, had to be rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard.
I turn around and I give her a thumbs up and I look in her eyes, and she looks back at me and she gives me a thumbs up back and musters a very, very scared but trying to be brave kind of smile.
27 campers and counselors died.
The hardest thing I've ever had to do was not only listening to a small child that shouldn't have to know the horrors of a tragedy as this, but to thank us for something they really don't understand.
Friday, President Donald Trump toured the damage in Kerrville. His visit comes amid serious concerns over flood preparedness and a lack of immediate alerts, notifying residents about the floods.
You're not supposed to have 500-year events every single year.
Texas State House Minority Leader Gene Wu says that...
Welcome back, talking to Chad Robichaux. Brand new book, A Mission Without Borders: Why a Father and Son Risked It All for the People of Ukraine. Okay, so what happened?
Well, so I get to Ukraine, Seaspray's there, and we start looking for people that needed help to get out of Ukraine. I mean, when you talk in the beginning, the first days, February 24th, 2022, the line is days to get out.
So you're going into a war zone. Putin has unleashed hell on the Ukraine, and there are Americans stuck there. Our government is not getting out, and so you go there with your son to help get them out.
And one thing that makes sure people understand, like people think, oh, there's always somebody like special operations or CIA behind the scenes. No, the White House forbid. Delta Force was sitting in Krakow, Poland, itching to go across to rescue Americans, and they were forbidden.
Why?
Because the White House would not let them cross that
Why?
border.
Why?
I would think because of what I said earlier. They want those casualties, and they don't want to interfere. They don't want to interfere because they want this thing to progress. I mean, an American casualty it feeds into the narrative that we need to be giving money to make you.
I hate to overuse the word. It's just demonic.
It's demonic. It is.
It is unbelievable.
And
Demonic nihilism and cynicism toward human lives, toward American lives. It's just.
you're talking about the most willing, patriotic, and capable people on the planet, Delta Force, and you never hear this from anyone, but I'm telling you, they're sitting in Krakow, Poland. I'm sitting across from them having dinner with them, and they're just so upset because we're getting to go across and they can't. Because these are some of our friends. And in the CIA, same thing. The ground branch, and they want. That's what their job is, to go rescue Americans. They're not allowed to do it. So we're going to go and do that. And so there's a number of rescues we've done. One of the highlights is we got a call from the Pentagon and the Special Operations Liaison Officer in Poland for the CIA asking us to go rescue Benjamin Hall. Fox News reporter Benjamin Hall. And when we got the call, we're sitting in our safe house in Poland, right at the border. And I remember Seaspray, we were all in, kind of putting our equipment together and kind of laughing and playing. And Seaspray picks up the phone and he gives us a hand signal to be quiet. He starts writing stuff down. He puts down the phone and he says, there's a Fox News reporter, Benjamin Hall. His team was killed. Sasha, the Fox correspondent in Ukraine, Pierre Zasesky, who was a 25-year Fox cameraman, their security team, and Benjamin Hall is alive. They didn't know how long he's going to be alive, but he's like, the United States is not able to go get him. He has a wife and 2 little girls at home, and if we in this room right now don't go, he's not going to live. Now, you have to realize at that time, Russia is encircled Kiev, the capital, and everybody thinks it's going to fall that night. So that's where he's at. And there was 9 people in our room at that time, and everyone raised their hand because Seaspray's like, if we don't go get him, he's not going to live. Who's in? Nine of us in there. Everybody raised their hand, including 8 special operations veterans, 1 professional baseball player. Adam LaRoche just happened to be there for dinner, and he's like, I'll drive. So I got to always give him credit for that. But at that time, we decided to go get him. My son grabs a bag and goes to throw it in the vehicle. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I got to say this. This is how incredible God is. With 1 hour before that, we had got all the assets in place. We call this access and placement, the ability to be able to go places. All the assets in place to be able to do this. 1 hour before, we knew we needed to be able to get past curfews and everything. We needed ambulance vehicles. We needed paperwork. So any kind of paperwork with official, put a stamp on it. It's good to go. Badges. We made some badges and EMT uniforms. That gave us access around. So we spent all week putting that together. And about an hour before we got that in place, when we got the call, within only an hour, we were capable. And I think God orchestrated that to go rescue Benjamin Hall. But my son threw a bag in the vehicle, and Seaspray says, hey, Hunter thinks he's going, but I need him in the operations center to monitor. He stayed back with the solo to be able to monitor the operation. And my son thought I was benching him, which previously, Afghanistan evacuations, I benched him because I didn't want him to be involved in that. I put him in Dubai. I mean, he's a Marine. He's an Afghanistan veteran. He's seen combat. He's very capable. He's very smart. And God had burdened his heart to do these things. But I'm a father, and I don't want to put my son in harm's way, especially as someone that's part of this operation. So we went and rescued Benjamin Hall. We got him back across the border. For those who know, his wounds are catastrophic. He lost a leg, a foot, a hand that they reattached, an eye. He had shrapnel in his throat. He was probably not going to make it, but we got him across the border. The U.S. military, the 82nd Airborne, was waiting on the other side of the border when we got him across, handed him off. They flew him to Landstuhl, Germany, to eventually to Brook Army Medical Center in Texas, and now he's on his prosthetics and dancing. He did a video of him dancing. He's back with his wife and little girls. Then we were asked to go back and get Pierre Zasesky's body, and we said no because we're not going to go in Kiev, which is under siege at the time, and risk our teammates to get a body. But then his wife Michelle came into Poland and said, "I want my husband," and we were like, "Yes, ma'am." And so I actually drove Pierre's body out myself and got him out of and delivered him to his wife to give a dignified recovery of his body. So from there, my son is just performing in this way that is making our team capable. And C Spray's like, hey, I need him here. And it came to a point to where I had to really make this decision, to where I had to decide, as much as I love my son, and obviously I do, God loves him more. As much as I could protect my son, God could protect him more, whether he's on his couch in Texas or in the front line of Ukraine.
Right.
God had burdened his heart to go do this work, and who am I to get in the way of it? And I really believe this. As a father in a situation, there's no more safe place on the planet for anyone to be than in the will of God, and I believe that's where God wanted him. So I had to make this very difficult decision to let my son be part of the forward team, and he's done 13 trips past the Russian lines into Ukraine. So,
you know what you just said about being in God's hands is the safest place in the world. We need to live like that, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not living like that, you're missing it. You need to know that you put yourself in God's hands, whether you live or die, you live.
Yeah. I mean, we get crippled by fear because of the way we look at eternity, the way we look at the things we love and cherish. And one of the things we love and cherish is our children.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more sacred to me in the world than being a protector of my children. So now I'm putting this critical dilemma to where I have to choose between doing what I think is safest for my son, or letting him step into God's will, which is he had a burden in his heart to go help these people that couldn't help themselves. He was itching to do it, and it wasn't out of ego. It wasn't out of he's just not that way. He just wanted to help, and so I had to make the decision. And now you fast forward, the book starts off in the prologue is me and my son, 2.5 hours apart from each other. I'm with Sea Spray on operation to go recover this U.S. Marine who had volunteered to fight with the Ukrainian forces, got shot in the stomach, was captured by the Russians. We had an opportunity to rescue him. In addition, there was reports of a place called Izum that Russia had occupied for 6 months that had just been liberated. The day before, the Ukrainians claimed they had found 1,400 bodies in mass graves of women and children that were executed. And our CIA said, hey, we want to make sure this isn't just a report from the Ukrainians, because, of course, that's incentive, financial incentive. So we want eyes on. Will you guys go look at that way in this area? So me and Sea Spray are doing those 2 operations. And at the same time, we had to bring some medical supplies and training to a Ukrainian unit in Bakhmut. And so Hunter led that with 4 other special operations guys. My son Hunter led that 2.5 hours apart. And while we're there in Izum, Russia closes the gap around us. So they encircle Izum and try to take it back. And me and Sea Spray are there. And when I say encircle it, I never seen this in all my time in Afghanistan. MiGs flying over and dropping airstrikes. We own the air in Afghanistan. So me and Sea Spray, both of us have never seen this before. MiGs flying over, doing gun runs, dropping ordnance on the Ukrainians. We were within probably 100 yards of small arm fire watching the Ukrainians fight. We had within 100 yards of us IDF indirect fire landing, dirt flying on us from bombs, and we were trying to get out of this area. I call my son on the radio to let him know, hey, we're with the Ukrainians. I mean, I can show you videos, Eric, of 80. I think I stopped counting about 80 Russian troops that were either dead or dying that we're walking over as we're getting out of there. So I called my son to let him know, hey, this is where we are, this is what's going on. And as I call him, bombs landing. He says, is that bombs landing behind you? I said, yeah. He's like, yeah, we're getting hit too. And then I hear the bombs landing around him. So we were at the same time, 2.5 hours apart. Bakhmut, by the way, doesn't go a minute since in 2 years without getting hit. And so that's where he's at. And I'm hearing this happen at the same time. So the reality of the decision I made comes over me like, oh my gosh, I just put my son in this situation while I'm trying to get out of there myself. And then that's where the book starts, and to go back to the beginning of how I came to that decision. But I could not be more proud of him not because of just bringing supplies. One of the things that he chose to do, that he identified and chose to do, that's so profound to me is a Mighty Oaks mission. As he recognized that all these troops that he was seeing on the front lines, the one thing that they were lacking was a chaplain. Someone to be there to pray with them. All these men that are conscripted or drafted by Zelensky to be on the front line, and they have no spiritual representation because Ukraine doesn't have a chaplaincy. And so we're working with the churches through Samaritan's Purse and other church networks, and all these people, the communities that came from, their pastors are like, I want to go serve my men, but I don't know how to poop in the woods, sleep in the woods. I don't know how to do medical care. I don't want to be a burden. How do I be a chaplain and minister to these guys. So we started. My son led a team to build this chaplaincy program, and to date, we've trained 300 pastors to chaplains and deployed them to the front lines to serve their men
Unbelievable.
in our lines. So
I mean, just to think that God, the scripture is clear. All things work together for good for those that love the Lord, are called according to his purpose. The idea that in the midst of this carnage, this hell, something beautiful could come out of it, and that you are reaching people with the love of God, that would not be happening. Folks, you got to look up Chad Robichaux, Saving Aziz, an amazing book. The new book, A Mission Without Borders, Why a Father and Son Risked It All for the People of Ukraine. Chad, the Lord is with you. He's using you for his purposes. Just a joy to have you on here. Already looking forward to having you back. God bless you, man.
God bless you. Thank you.